I think moving forward in this video series, I'm going to be struggling for I think majority of these letters because there are so many classic shoujo manga that would be perfect for today's letter. Hello friends, I'm Laura A. Grace and I'm a writer and reviewer here at Beneath the Tangles, and I'm so very excited that you're here because we are continuing the ABCs of Shoujo video series where basically I'm trying to find a shoujo manga for every letter of the alphabet. And today's letter is the letter K, but if you like to start at the beginning, you can check out the playlist here. There have been so many wonderful picks. Today is no exception, even though I feel really bad because one of the picks that I was going to read for this video, I wasn't able to read in time, but I'm still going to feature it. My goal is for each video, or for each letter I should say, I try and choose 3 to 4 physical manga and then at least 1 digital manga for that letter. Let's go ahead and start with the first one I wanted to feature, which is the one I wasn't able to read because this one is actually in honor of our editor Claire. She's also a reviewer and writer for Beneath the Tangles, and she has gushed so much about this manga, and she is not the only one. I felt like if I did not feature this one, there'd be a lot of upset people that I know because they absolutely adore this manga, and that is, hope I'm saying it right, that is Kageki Shoujo? Am I saying that right? I hope that I am. I'm so sorry if I totally just butchered the name of this series. Also, please don't mind the barcode because I'm borrowing it from my library, and that was the thing, is I had had it on hold for so long. Somebody else put a hold on it and I had to go return it. And I do want to briefly mention before I forget, this is, it says volume 1, but there actually is a prequel to this series. Claire deeply encouraged me like, hey, yes, technically you could start with volume 1 of this, but you need to read the prequel before you read this series. And this series sounds like so much fun. It is about this girl here, her name is Sarasa, and she has this dream to be part of this all-female troupe that they go, and I think I'm saying that word right, they go and they perform at theatrical events, but it's only female. They do the male roles and the female roles, and she really wants to play this male role called Oscar. But the thing is before she can join this troupe and be part of this group of ladies, she has to go to their school, their theatrical musical school or academy. She's got to go there for 2 years, and so she decides to go, and that's where she meets her roommate, who I guess is very much the opposite of our main girl. She seems to be outspoken, and she has these great ambitions where I guess she's sort of making a few enemies. I don't know if it's because they're so grand and so big or because she's outspoken. I really don't know, but this is her journey to stardom, to fulfilling her dream of being part of these ladies and performing these different plays and different musicals and such. Again, it sounds like it is so much fun. I feel like this manga has been on my radar for a while because I think I first heard about it when the prequel came out, and a lot of people said it was really deep. It had a lot of heavy-hitting topics that were addressed in that manga, and I know a few people at the time when it first went on my radar warned me like, hey, you need to come in with a good mindset because these are not easy or light topics. I don't know if those topics are a little bit less, I'm hesitant to say the word easygoing, but they don't play as large of a role, I guess, in the story. I'm not 100% sure because I unfortunately haven't read it, but a lot of people say this is such an enjoyable, moving read with a lot of action, but not in the same sense as if like they're fighting and duking it out and battling with their fists or anything, but very much a musical battle on stage of where they're performing and giving their all and having to grow in their dancing and their singing and their performing. That is where we're seeing the heart of this action. I also heard there's a lot of heartfelt moments between a lot of the different girls, especially I think between her and her roommate, who I didn't even know until I was reading the blurb actually that she used to be a J-pop idol, and I don't know why, but I was actually really excited about that because apparently she doesn't have the same easygoing attitude and maybe comes across as a little bit maybe mean-like, and so I'm like, oh, I'm like, that's sort of different, especially since it seems that a lot of J-pop idols are very kind and easygoing and they smile a lot, and I'm like, this girl doesn't seem to fit that. So I'm very curious. I definitely will have to recheck it out from my library at some point and actually read it. Got behind on my reading this past month, so I didn't have time, but I'm definitely wanting to read this, especially so I can go tell Claire, hey, I read it, and hopefully I can tell her that I loved it. This is definitely a very popular manga, and I'm so glad that it's back in stock, and that is Kimi ni Todoke From Me to You. I absolutely love and adore this series so very much. Has such a special place in my heart. I feel like it's really what got me on the shoujo hype train, so to speak. When I was thinking of classics, Kami-sama Kiss and Kitchen Princess also came to mind, so those are my honorable mentions for classic shoujo manga that start with the letter K. But if you're not familiar with this series or have not heard about it, our main girl here, Sawako, has the nickname of Sadako because of her black hair. She sort of has like this creepy aura around her, but really she's just this awkward, shy woman that doesn't really know how to interact with other people in a way, but she really wants to. And so she ends up meeting Kazehaya, who is one of the most popular guys in her class, and he befriends her, and as she's befriending him and getting to know him, she really starts coming out of her shell. People are starting to see how earnest Sawako is in befriending people and helping other people, and as that personal journey is ongoing, both of our leads start having feelings for each other, and it is a beautiful, satisfying, very deep romance that I love them so incredibly much. I feel like this is a classic for a reason, and rightfully so. It is slow building, and there's definitely at times where there's some angst, especially I feel like within the first 10 volumes when we're leading up to things, but it is so very satisfying and again beautiful to see where Sawako starts as this awkward freshman young girl and seeing the confidence that she has by the time, I guess you would say, she's a senior, a third year, and her going off to college. Like, you see our leads grow romantically, but you also see how they interact with other people, see them fulfill their or pursue their dreams, excuse me, and wanting to fulfill those dreams, how they want to be by each other's side, having to figure out and discover for some of their friends, like, what is that dream, dealing with romantic things that are going on, sometimes for our leads, but like the friendships are so beautiful and so fantastic. They have their own romantic stories too, so I feel like if you're really attached to a side character, don't worry, you will see some backstory with them, and it is just so incredibly great. I really love it. A lot of the side characters are my favorites, but Sawako is probably my ultimate favorite character in this series. I, again, feel like she got me on the shoujo hype train, have just been head over heels for shoujo ever since then. Kimi ni Todoke, I feel like, sets the bar for how wonderful shoujo manga is, and like, this is the awesomeness and the beauty of shoujo manga. So I knew today that Kimi ni Todoke had to be featured. I strongly recommend picking it up and reading it or watching the anime, though I feel like my favorite and the best parts are the ones that come after the anime and seeing how they grow together as well as individually. It's one I cannot recommend enough. So very, very good. The last physical manga that I'm going to feature is Kamomo Confissory, which I absolutely love this manga. It's been a while since I have read it, but it is so sweet. Love the art. If you are looking for a food shoujo manga, this is a great one to check out. Kamomo here is, I don't think she's a princess per se, but she definitely acts like a princess. When she was younger, she liked to sort of pick on this guy here. His name is Natsu, and he was the son of the pastry chef in her family. Well, fast forward 10 years, her family has lost all of their wealth, all of their riches, and now she has nowhere to go. Well, Natsu they cross paths, and he's like, hey, I'll let you work for me, give you a place to stay, but more or less, you're gonna do everything I tell you to do. And I wouldn't go as far to say as Natsu is a bully, but let's just say he does get a little bit payback from all the times that Kamomo had picked on him, had even wrote on him when he was a kid like he was a horse. I mean, she did some not so nice things herself. It is a very fun story of them growing as individuals for sure, but seeing Kamomo and her realize, you know, I was wrong how I treated Natsu back then, and how really she does have this princess aura when other people, when she's seen them bullied or them act less than princess-like, because there is an actual moment where bullying takes place and she's just like, no, this is not what we do, cut it out, and we are just not going there. And so I really appreciate and enjoyed those moments. But when I was talking about the food earlier, where that comes in is there's so many pastry goodies. Oh my goodness, I wish I could work at Natsu's shop because he has some of the most delicious food, and here is his cafe or his shop that he has, and I really, really love the art style. Like, it's really great. Natsu has a very interesting journey himself. Again, he does not always act the kindest, so I will give that forewarning there. He also, I would say, mellows out. I'm trying to find some of the delicious food so you guys can see how good it looks. Like, more often than not when I was reading this, I'm like, I so want to eat something right now. Found one that looks pretty good. I did find some other scenes, but they were like really small panels like this size, and then they were near the spine, but the food looks so delicious. Love the sweetness of this volume with the food and the romance, and just seeing all of these characters grow. There is a little bit of drama that happens, and it was a very sweet ending. I wanted a little bit more, not gonna deny, but it is a great 5-volume series that I would definitely recommend checking out. For my digital manga that I want to feature, I have not read this one, but I wanted to do this one in honor of our graphic designer and a reviewer at Beneath the Tangles, and that is Kira-kun Today. I am so curious about this one. This is by the same creator as Kiss Me at the Stroke of Midnight, and I guess our main girl, her name is Nino, and she's very awkward, and she has sort of been given an assignment or a duty to help the class joker, whose name is Kira. She's got to go help him with something. He's also her next door neighbor. I guess he's got some really terrible secrets, and so she gets pulled into his world. They say this is sort of like fated love, or two people coming together to create a fated love of sorts, but I get the feeling, or I'm hoping, that there's maybe a little bit of a magical element to it. I don't really know what his terrible secret would be, but I know the art and the cover look absolutely gorgeous. I did enjoy Kiss Me at the Stroke of Midnight, and while I'm sure the story is very different, I am curious to see how it unfolds. Kiss Me at the Stroke of Midnight was pretty funny, and I know Marg absolutely loves that series, so I would be very curious to check out this one as well. And I'm so sorry I haven't read it where I could offer more on this, but I did actually discover that I have volume 1 digitally, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know I had this. I felt like featuring today would help bump it up on my personal radar and actually check it out and go read it. And that wraps up all my picks for the letter K. I hope you enjoyed these, and I would love to hear what would you feature for the letter K, because again, I know there's a lot of great manga. Hope you enjoyed these picks, and if you did, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!